you. Your vagina isn't broken, and there's very likely nothing wrong with you. Just because you experience numbness or lack of sensation during intimacy doesn't mean that you need a diagnosis. In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 reasons why you might be having this experience and how to overcome it. The last one that I'm going to share with you is a game changer, and it has totally transformed my relationship with intimacy and all of the clients that I work with. So stick around. Before we dive in, it would mean the world to me if you could give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos on ending your struggle with intimacy and increasing desire and confidence in your relationships. Also, turn on the bell to be notified because I post new videos every single week. My name is Janelle Fraser, founder of the Feminine Confidence Formula, where I help women end their struggle with intimacy so that they can create deeply connected relationships and enjoy intimacy, desire intimacy, get their needs met. So let's get into it. The first reason you could be experiencing numbness is because of the expectation that you have around how it's supposed to feel, how it should feel, how you should be reacting. Because penetration has become this end goal, ultimate destination of what you should be enjoying during intimacy, I think what happens is we assume that it should feel better than clitoral stimulation or other forms of intimate touch. But the reality is most women are going to experience orgasm or the majority of their pleasure in foreplay and in non-penetrative intimacy. Just because the P enters the V doesn't mean there's automatic increase in arousal or enjoyment of what you're experiencing or moaning. And sometimes that expectation, I think, gets in our way from enjoying the sensation that does exist. Some women may not even necessarily be experiencing numbness, but their expectation that it should be something more than it is preventing them from actually being able to experience the sensations that are there. I used to feel the exact same way until I let go of the expectation of what I should be feeling and actually just started getting in tune with and learning to enjoy what I was feeling. So yes, it feels different than clitoral stimulation where you have that excitement, that buildup of sensation that kind of rises and rises and often can end in a climax. Whereas penetrative sex is not that feeling, but that doesn't mean that you're numb. So for me, it feels more like pressure, more like massage, more grounding, and that pressure and that massage and that grounding feeling really is super delicious for me, and I've learned to be able to enjoy that. It is just different. And through changing my expectation, I could enjoy the sensation I was feeling instead of feeling like I was numb because I wasn't feeling what I thought I should be feeling. The second reason you might be feeling numb is that you're getting information. Maybe it's from porn or media and movies, or maybe it's from friends around, oh, it's so good. Oh, it's the best thing ever. And you see how people's bodies react on movies or in porn, and you're like, well, I don't do that, or I don't think that about sex, so there must be something wrong with me. Clearly, I'm not feeling what they're feeling. I must be numb. I must be broken. There's misinformation as well as missing information when you are taking in information from these sources. So when you're talking to friends about their scenarios and their enjoyment or their sex life or they're celebrating what they're experiencing, oftentimes they're not just talking about P and V. They are talking about the whole experience. They're talking about the foreplay, the buildup, the types of toys they're using, right? Their whole relationship dynamic is contributing. And so those people aren't just saying, oh, penetration feels so good. That it might, but you're also missing a lot of the other context around it. So don't compare your situation to someone else without inquiring further what makes it enjoyable for them. Sure, we can get tips and tricks from people, but making sure that you're actually getting the whole picture and not just they bend over, they enjoy the penetration, and they move on. That is going to be less common. For people to fully enjoy penetration and for that friend of yours to be sharing her lovely story, what happened before that? What led to that enjoyment? What was the buildup? What was the foreplay? Because you might be judging yourself that, well, you're not like that or you don't enjoy it, but you're missing information on what actually made that experience enjoyable. So ask more questions to get a full understanding about what's working for those friends or family. And when it comes to porn or movies, we know that 99% of that is acting. So not comparing our own reactions to penetration with, oh, I'm not acting like that. It doesn't make me want to do that. So therefore I must be broken or something is wrong with me. That is not necessarily the case at all. And just know that you can still enjoy penetration, as we talked about in number 1, and shifting your expectations. And it do not necessarily have to be leading to orgasm or leading you to make all these different types of sounds. Number 3 is that you're hyper-focusing on the genitals. You're hyper-focusing on getting into penetration and kind of that end destination. And the challenge with that is it puts a lot of pressure to feel or act a certain way and can often cause shutdown. Oftentimes the body is not warmed up and open enough to even be able to feel sensation, and people are having intimacy way too quickly, penetration too quickly, which leads to numbness. So encourage your partner and yourself to explore the rest of your body, so much so that you're actually begging for penetration, that you're begging for genital touch. And don't forget about the rest of the body. Enjoy all the other touch until you're really craving it, and that's going to increase sensation and enjoyment. Number 4 is you're so focused on what you can't feel versus what you can feel. Whatever we focus on expands in our life, and we continue to get more of that. And I know when there's a struggle with intimacy or how we perceive our body to be working for us, we can really get fixated on what we're not enjoying or what we're not liking. Instead, how can you focus on what parts of intimacy do you enjoy? How can you do more of those? Changing your mindset around what you're focusing on, what relationship you're building with your partner, and the time that you spend together. Because if you're always rushing through the process, hyper focusing on the genitals, having these expectations, it can really create this negative cycle where you continue to focus on, I don't enjoy this, my body isn't working for me, I feel numb, versus, okay, what do I like about intimacy? What kinds of touch do I like? What does work for me? And how can I have more of those situations to start to actually change my perspective about intimacy? Because when we can change our perspective about intimacy and our body is also going to work better for us. It's just basic relationship. You're having a relationship with your own body, and maybe it's not working the way that you think it should or you want it to, and hyper focusing on all of its problems and nitpicking at them is the fastest way to destroy your relationship with yourself. And so focus on what is working for you, what types of pleasure your body is giving you and allowing you to enjoy, and make those a high priority and the focus of your intimate sessions while you're figuring out the other stuff. The 5th reason is because you're not even in your body. You're not present in the moment. You're living in your head, in your insecurities, in your to-do list, in your stress, and you're not able to get into your body. If you're not feeling, you're not present. Because in order to feel, you have to be here. I'll put a video that I've done in the description below about getting in the mood and being present in your body, so you can watch that one next. But an extra tip that might sound a little bit silly considering we just talked about how in porn we see these noises that are getting made that are acting. One of the things that I've discovered that really helps me to be present is making noise. Now hear me out. I agree that this isn't about acting, this isn't about pretending, this is about allowing your body to make a general noise. So if I was to push you and surprise you, you might be like, oh, or if it was a hard thud, oh, right? Someone like kicks you in the stomach. There's different sensations, noises that can automatically come out of our body. And we can really get in a habit when we're struggling in our intimate life of just being completely quiet. And so one of the things I started doing was allowing my body to make the noises that it wanted to make. And so not because I was acting or performing, not because I was trying to make them think I was enjoying it more than I was, not to signal that I'm orgasming, but just to allow my body to have a noise for the sensation that I'm feeling. It helps to drop me into the present moment. So in penetration specifically, again, for me, it often does not feel like that clitoral buildup. It feels like pressure or release or grounding. So for me, those noises might be like, ugh, right? Like that, what you feel when you relax. And that can also bring more presence, more attention, more sensation. I've noticed that I've got increased sensation by giving a noise to the sensations that I was feeling. Just because you're not registering how you're feeling doesn't mean that you're not feeling. It may just mean that you're not present enough in your body to feel the sensations in your body. Congratulations if you've made it this far in the video. I'd love for you to post in the comments, where do you love to be touched the most, even in a non-sexual way? For me, my knees feel so delicious, and I will always accept a rub. They're my favorite place to be rubbed. So let me know in the comments where you appreciate being touched most. The sixth reason you might be feeling numb is because you're not listening to your body's communication. Your body is a huge communication tool, and it's giving you sensations and feelings and thoughts, constantly trying to communicate with you to help you to experience more pleasure, more enjoyment, more health, more safety, more connection. However, if you're not tuning in, if you're ignoring the signals throughout the day, throughout your life, in your relationship, if you're ignoring these signals and these communications that your body's giving you, it will kind of eventually just shut them off. It's like, oh, well, they're not listening to me. Well, what am I supposed to do? So tune in to what your body has been telling you. You're feeling numb, likely because you're missing all of the other clues about what you need to actually experience pleasure. When I talk to women, oftentimes they have a sense of what they need or what they want or what would be more enjoyable for them, and they're not listening, they're not communicating those things, or they're ignoring them or wishing that they would go away and wishing that they could just be easier, wishing they didn't have the needs that they have. And that is not very self-honoring. And what starts to happen is our communications tools starts short-circuiting, starts not working, not allowing us to have pleasure or enjoyment, because it's protecting you as well. It's like, okay, she's not listening. She's not following the clues that I'm giving her, so we're gonna just try to shut this down to protect her. The seventh reason you might be feeling numb and can't feel much during penetration is you're not actually turned on yet. You're not actually ready for what you're doing. So you need to ask yourself, do I need to stop? Do I need to change? Or do I need to shift what I am doing or slow down what I'm doing to bring about enjoyment? For women to open up, to be ready to receive penetration, 20 to 40 minutes is what it takes to bring about arousal. Most people are being penetrated long before their bodies are ready, causing numbness, causing shutdown. Your body just isn't even awake yet. It's like you're trying to drive the car, but the car isn't even started. So you need to tune in and ask yourself, when you're feeling that numbness, am I turned on? Am I desiring this? If I'm not wanting it, of course I'm going to feel numb. If I'm just doing it to get it done, of course you're going to feel numb. And slowing the process down so that your needs can get met, so that you can wake up, is going to help to bring more blood flow, more circulation, turn on all the things that need to be turned on inside of us that can make this more enjoyable. The eighth reason you could be experiencing numbness is because you're actually having a trauma response and you're dissociating and leaving your body, meaning you're not present. And we talked about this earlier, but just know that this can happen if you have past trauma or if you just have a history of having sex that you don't enjoy. This can be very common, and everything we talked about today can definitely help with that. But if you are dealing with some specific trauma that you've never dealt with before, then you might want to seek additional coaching or therapy to help you move through that. The ninth reason is your emotional state or the emotional state and climate of your relationship. Your heart and your vagina are connected, and one is going to affect the other. And so you're not a robot. Don't expect that your body is going to be able to just enjoy intimacy and should be able to enjoy penetration, even if emotionally you're having a hard time, or you're feeling unsafe, or you're feeling lack of trust, or you're feeling frustrated or not appreciated. Like, all of these things are going to impact your enjoyment. And so oftentimes when people come to me, I talk about how do we handle what's emotionally going on and build that level of communication and safety and trust and connection to be able to then add on the physical element. Because when emotional stuff is happening, it will shut down physical enjoyment. The 10th reason you might be experiencing numbness is because you guys are in default mode and you're doing the same thing that's not working over and over again, or you're doing the same thing that maybe worked at one point but isn't working now in this time in your life. So the tool I'm about to give you is a complete game changer for me and my clients, and to get the most out of what I'm going to share with you, you've got to go download the In the Mood Intimacy Guide. The reality is, you guys are coming at different places and you have different needs in that moment. And if you're not honoring the needs that you have now and just going into default mode and doing the same routine, you are gonna have numbness, you're gonna have shutdown, you're gonna have lack of desire and arousal and enjoyment, and it's just perpetuating this negative cycle. So in this intimacy guide, I show you my intimacy number scale, which shows you the range of intimacy that we can experience. And being able to tune in with your partner before you're getting into intimacy about, hey, where are you on the scale? What are you desiring tonight? Where are you at? Where should we start? Because oftentimes you're trying to jump to a 10 when your body's really at a 3, or your partner's at an 8 or a 9 and you're at a 4. And so you need to be able to bridge the gap from where you are versus just trying to jump up to where your body isn't ready for. And that default mode and doing these same patterns over and over again are going to continue to perpetuate everything that we talked about today and make all of these way harder to do. So download the Intimacy Guide to understand where you're at on the scale. Use it as a communication tool, because I know it can be so difficult to explain to your partner what you want or what you don't want. This intimacy scale makes it easy. All you need to say is I'm at a 3 or a 2, and they can read what that means and how they should approach that situation. The goal isn't necessarily to climb the intimacy scale, but what I have noticed is that when you start interacting and experiencing intimacy together where your body really wants it, it's going to be more likely to open up and send all the signals of turn on to the right places, so that penetration, so that sex is more enjoyable. So all of these tools work together to eliminate this issue of numbness from your life. If you haven't already, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I would love to know your biggest takeaway in the comments, because I get so motivated from actually seeing how this work changes your life and your relationship and your mindset. So please share in the comments what your biggest takeaway was. And if you know anyone that could benefit from this video, or even sharing it with your partner so that you guys are on the same page and they can understand your situation a little bit better, allow this to be a conversation starter for you. Lord knows we need better sex education in this world, and I'm just a small part of that. Here are some other videos that I think you will enjoy. Make it a great day.